Alright everyone, I'm going to talk about compositing, and I'm going to do a very basic example. And what I'm going to want you to do is experiment with these compositing tools and tricks that I'm going to show you right now, and we will be working on these more in class, and I'm also going to want to see the results of how you're actually going about doing this. So I want you to pay attention and have fun with it, because when it comes to compositing, it's pretty much digital collage, and we can do whatever we want. We are our own limitations. So I'm going to do something super simple, and I'm going to explain to you why it's simple. I'm going to choose this image here of these pelicans in a flying V formation. And there's some safe practices in editing these images, because if we're actually manipulating the image, we don't necessarily want to manipulate the base image. We want to add a layer on top of it that we edit, so that we're never actually harming our original file. So over here on the right, you see this is our background image. This is the picture. I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to go to this new layer down here, and I'm going to make a duplicate copy. So you can drag, you only need one of these. I'm just showing you how to do it. When we make an edit now to our background copy, like let's say, we just make a big edit, we make all these birds go away. No matter what, they'll still always be on our background layer, the original layer, but our edits are being done to a layer on top of it. Okay, so that's just safe practices. You'll see more, that'll make more sense as we go along. So I'm clicked on the background copy, and let's just say real quick that I want to get rid of some of these pelicans, okay? There's a few ways to do that, but there's this tool over here called Spot Healing Brush Tool, and it is super, super smart. With this image, it's really easy because there's a pretty drastic contrast between these subjects, which are isolated, they're all individual, and this very clean backdrop that is consistent. So I'm going to click on one, and it's not hard for Photoshop to say, oh, you're trying to replace this with the background. So I'm just making these pelicans disappear. Again, I'm doing them to this background copy, so if if I'm done for the day and I come back tomorrow and I see all these pelicans gone and I'm like, what was I thinking? I need those pelicans back. In this file, I can always click off on this layer, and my pelicans are back. All right, so let's just get, we've made some pelicans go away, and now what I want to show you how to do is take these pelicans and make copies of them so we can add more pelicans. I'm going to go and zoom in. I'm going to do Command 1. That brings me into 100%. And I'm going to hit Command plus to zoom in even closer. Okay, so here's our bird, and I'm going to go up to this tool up here called Quick Selection Tool. I call it the Quick Select. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to make it a little smaller using the brackets on my keyboard, and I'm going to select it. So it does a pretty good job finding the edge, and the harder the edge, the more contrast, the easier it is. I'm going to zoom in even more. As you can see, if you look really closely on my the cursor tool, it's actually a plus sign in the middle, and the plus sign means that you are adding to your selection. If you hold the Option key, you can see it switch to a minus, and that means that I can subtract from the area that I don't want selected. So I'm refining my edge. So I'm going to do this as much as I want, and I'm going to stop here because it's good enough for what I'm showing you, but it's up to you to kind of do this as much as you want. You can really fine-tune your selection. So now that I've made a selection, I can go up to the Move tool, and it's as simple as copying and pasting, or within the Move tool, can hold the Option button, and if you're on the Move tool, this one up here, and you hold Option, it shows you this black and white arrow, and it's a duplicate. So I can click, as long as I'm holding on Option, I can drag a duplicate, and I can drag another duplicate. Now let's zoom back out. Let me just grab that and move it up here. Oops. Let's grab another. I'm just holding the Option key, and I'm just dragging, and I'm making duplicates. So it's a duplicate of, these are all the exact same bird, so you can kind of see them start to have that similar shape and pattern. And guess what? We could do this as much as we want. And we can do it with other images, with other objects, with other subjects. Now that we have a selection of one of the birds, though, I'm just going to do Command Copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Bridge, and I'm going to open up, let's see here, I'm going to open up this image. Because this photograph of a tree and street in San Francisco is lacking little birds. Let's see where it put it. Right there in the middle. So I'm just going to grab it, and I'm going to bring it up here. And then I'm going to, again, hold the Option key. See, you can see over here that we've created our own layer. When you paste an image, when you paste something like an image, like a selection, like this bird, like we just did, onto a new image, it'll create a new layer every single time. If we go back to this image, you can see that they were all just being created on the background layer, but because we copied it to a new file, it created this new layer. So what I'll do is I'll hold the Option key, and I'm going to drag. Oops. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to make another copy, and I'm going to make a, which one is it on? It's on number 1. So you have to make sure you know which one you're on. So let's say layer 1 is this one on the far right. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back, click on layer number 1. I'm going to make one more. So now I've added these birds, which I can remove them individually, or I could drag and make them all go away again. So that's intervening with this image. It's adding something to this photograph from somewhere else. Let's go down here, and just to show you how absolutely far you can take this, let's open up this image and open it. And let's see here. What should we do to this image first? We don't really need to add birds. It doesn't really need birds, but why don't we just go to this quick select tool over here, and let's select my friends here. And I'm going to just kind of do this real quick and kind of sloppy like. I'm going between the plus and minus on my quick select tool. And I'm going to click Command Copy, and I'm going to go to this image, and I'm going to hit Command V. So I've pasted them into this scene. What I can do now is go to the Move tool and drag down so that it's perfectly in the corner. And now what I can do is, because I think that they're way too big for this image, I'm going to go up to Edit and go to Free Transform. You could also do Command T. Mac Command T. I don't know what that would be on PC, but hit Free Transform, and that, while I'm selected on the image of the folks that I've added, it means that I can free transform that specific image. So I'm just going to add them right here, and then I'm going to hit Enter, and cool, there they are. I think they look pretty good. Yeah, great, perfect. That made this image way better. But you know what I think? I think we need more of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Paste again, and then what I'm going to do is get them centered. I'm going to do my free transform, and I'm going to drag them till they're back to the same scale that I made them. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to flip them horizontally, and then I'm going to bring them over to the other side. There we go. That's starting to look a little better. Cool. So now we've got people, and we've got symmetry, and we've got this tree. And then let's try to select the tree. It's going to be weird and complicated, but I'm going to go to my quick select tool, and I'm going to make sure that I'm clicked on the background layer. And it's doing a pretty good job. Let me make this a little smaller. Get the trunk. Come on up. Get that branch. Get this branch. Get that stuff. Get those leaves. Get the building out of there. And that's good enough for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my Move tool. I'm going to hold on the Option key, and that's going to bring me another tree up here. And how about, actually, let's go back. I'm going to go to Quick Select, and I'm going to hit Copy, and I'm going to hit Paste so that it creates that new layer. I'm going to free transform the tree. I'm going to right-click it. Let's flip it 180 degrees, and then drag it up. All right, so that's looking like how I wanted it to look. Boom, perfect. So you can see that you can take this as far as you want. You can add things to an image, or you can take something that's in an image and then you can duplicate it and move it around and cause a lot of confusion in what people think that they're looking at. And you can use it in a really weird way like this, or you could use it in a way that's a little less extreme and a little more subtle, just like by making the birds disappear or adding more. So learn these tools over here on the left, the Move tool, the Quick Selection tool, the Spot Healing Brush tool. Those are kind of in my top go-to tools for most things that I do in Photoshop when it comes to kind of fixing and manipulating and getting rid of, spots in an image. So play around with that, make new layers, and have fun with it.